Hello everyone, welcome to the UNK online captains meeting for soccer. I will first talk about the UNK policies. First policy is injuries. All players must play at their own risk. Any costs incurred due to injury while playing intramurals will be the responsibility of the injured party. I will also talk about lost, stolen, or damaged items. Intramural staff is not responsible for any items that are lost, stolen, or damaged during intramural activities. Next item is payment. There is a $20 intramural semester fee that must be paid by all players wishing to play in intramurals. You can pay in cash or check in Cushing Office 112, or you can pay with debit or credit card at www.unk.edu/intramurals. Payments must be made by 2 o'clock the day of the game, or if the game is on the weekend, they must pay by 2 o'clock on Friday. Let's talk about eligibility. As I previously stated, there's a $20 fee that must be paid before a player can play for intramurals. You must also have a valid UNK ID to play. You must show that valid UNK ID to official or supervisor prior to your game. If you do not have a UNK ID, you will not play. For you to be on the roster, you must sign up for that team by 2 o'clock on the game day, or 2 o'clock on Friday for the weekend games. Once you have played on a team, you cannot switch teams unless there's extreme circumstance, and you can only play on one team per league. Let's talk about rosters. If a player is not on a roster by 2 p.m. the day of the game, or by 2 p.m. on Friday for weekend games, they will not be able to play in that game. Make sure you confirm or deny any player requests on IM Leagues, or make sure your players accept your request if you are adding them. Now let's talk about something not so fun: defaults and forfeits. If your team is unable to play on the day of the game, you must contact the intramural office by 2 p.m. on that day of the game to receive a default. 2 defaults equals 1 forfeit. Teams will not make it into the playoffs if they have 2 forfeits or a sportsmanship rating average of less than 2.5. 2 forfeits or 3 defaults equals removal from the league. We don't want that. Sportsmanship ratings, everybody's favorite. To receive a 4.0 in sportsmanship ratings, you must display excellent sportsmanship behavior. This means you're cooperative with the refs and the officials at all times, and you have full control over your team. To receive a 3.5, you must display good sportsmanship behavior. This means you still have positive behavior towards the ref and display control over your team as well. To receive a 3.0 means you're displaying acceptable sportsmanship behavior. This means that you are generally respectful to opponents and or officials. To receive anything less than a 3.0 means you're displaying poor sportsmanship behavior. This means you are constantly disrespectful towards officials and opponents. If you receive anything less than a 3.0, you may request an explanation from the intramural GAs, Connor and Courtney. If you do receive anything less than a 3.0, your sportsmanship rating will be documented. To get a 1.0 sportsmanship rating means you're displaying very unacceptable sportsmanship behavior. To view more about sportsmanship rating, visit imleagues.com. All teams begin with a sportsmanship rating of 3.0. From there, you must earn a higher sportsmanship rating. Teams may view their sportsmanship ratings on IM Leagues the day after their game. Please do not get anything less than a 3.0. There will be a playoff meeting. We will conduct an in-person playoff meeting to allow teams to pick their bracketing positions. Date and time for this meeting will be announced at a later date. Thank you. Now let's talk about the good stuff. Game information. All games will be played on Foster Field or Cope Stadium. That is the turf field right next to the Union. Some game rules. Games will consist of 2 20-minute halves with running clock. Stoppage time will be addressed later in this presentation. The halftime will be no longer than 5 minutes long. Some more game rules. To start the play, there will be a captain's meeting where there will be a coin toss or rock, paper, scissors session. To start the game, a team must have a minimum of 8 players or a maximum of 11 players. They must designate a player to be a goalie. For co-rec, the minimum amount of players is 8 players, so 4 males or 4 females, and the maximum amount of players is 11 players. 5 males, 5 females, plus the goalie can be of either gender. Goals! All goals count for 1 point. Except in co-rec, a goal made by a female will count for 2 points, including penalty kicks, within regulation. Overtime. There will be no overtime or shootouts during the regular season. During playoffs, however, there will be a shootout. The shootout will consist of 5 different players from both teams. Each player will shoot 1 shot. If a winner is not determined after 5 shots, there will be 5 new shooters. Good old equipment. Some illegal equipment. No toed cleats. That means no baseball, softball, or football cleats. No steel or metal cleats, or hard-toed shoes. No hats, no headgear, unless it's soft and elastic. No jewelry, and no bandanas. If a player is found to be wearing the illegal equipment, that player will be asked to leave the field. That player cannot come back to the field unless the equipment has been removed. If the player does not leave the field, that player will be assessed a red card. All rulings will be made at the discretion of the officials and supervisors. Shin guards are strongly recommended. UNK intramurals will only provide a game ball. Jerseys. Each team must provide their own jerseys. The jerseys must be the same color, and you cannot tape your number onto the jerseys. If it is cold and you need to wear a sweatshirt, please wear your jerseys over the sweatshirt. Game times. All games will start as they were scheduled. Officials' captain's meeting will take place 5 minutes prior to the scheduled time. If a team does not have the required amount of players to field the team, they have a 5-minute grace period as long as someone is there. If a team does not show up, they will be assessed a forfeit. Substitutions. There is no limit to the amount of substitutions during a game. Teams can only substitute on their own throw-in, or if the throwing team subs, the opposing team can sub as well. Any team can sub on a goal kick, penalty kick, or corner kick. Substituting players must be beckoned in by the official before entering the field. They must go to the spot at midfield. Now let's talk about the game clock. There will be no timeouts during the game. The official may stop the clock for injury timeouts. There will be no stoppage time for the games. However, the official has the authority to add time if he or she thinks that the team is intentionally wasting time during the game. Now let's talk about those famous yellow and red cards in soccer. Red cards. If a player is penalized with a red card, they will be ejected from that contest and will have to meet with the Director of Campus Recreation, Scott France, before they can play in another soccer game. There will be no soft reds. If a player is deserving of a second yellow card, there will be a red card assessed in its place. Highest sportsmanship rating a team can receive after receiving a red card will be a 2.5. Yellow cards. If a player is assessed a yellow card, they must be subbed out of the game at that time and cannot come back into the game until the next subbing opportunity. If a player is given a yellow card during the game, the highest sportsmanship rating the team can receive is a 3.0. Now let's talk about some very important things. There is absolutely no slide tackling from behind, no extension of the arms. Fans are not allowed on the field. Fans must sit in the stands during the games. Teams will be assessed warnings for unsporting talk between teams, cursing, excessive physical play, and diving. Now, let's talk about some very important people. Director of Campus Recreation is Scott France. The graduated assistants are Courtney Spahn and Connor Steenheisen. Our office is located in Cushing 112. Our phone number is 308-865-8676. If you want to email us at unkintramurals@unk.edu. You can also go to IM Leagues and Facebook to find us. Last but not least, by continuing on and taking the quiz, In creating a team, you are verifying that you have watched the video and understood all rules, policies, and procedures for UNK soccer. If you have any questions, contact the intramural office at the contact information provided in the previous slide. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great season.